Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the What a Deck profile for the GraydleFoes deck. I'm just going to go through everything in here, and then I'll explain how it works. So we're playing 3 of the MetalFoes Volflame, 3 Gold Driver, 3 Silvered, 3 Steelin, 1 Graydle Slime, 3 Graydle Alligator, 3 Vortex Trooper, 1 Graydle Slime Jr., and 3 rare MetalFoes Bismagia. For our spells, we have 1 MetalFoes Fusion, 1 full MetalFoes Fusion, 2 Twin Twister, 3 Graydle Impact, and 3 Supply Squad. For our traps, 3 MetalFoes Counter, 1 Jar of Avarice, and 3 MetalFoes Combination. For our extra deck, we have 1 Crimsomite, 2 Orichalk, 1 Mithril, 1 Adamanti, 1 Alcahest, 1 Graydle Dragon, 1 Ignister Prominence, 1 Clearwing Synchro Dragon, 1 Coral Dragon, 1 Crystron Amortrix, 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, 1 Utopia the Lightning, 1 Utopia, and 1 the Phantom Knights of Breaksword. The side deck I'll go over in a bit. So this is what I would call an advantage deck, which basically just runs on generating as much card advantage as possible. You get rid of your opponent's cards, while also drawing and adding more cards from your deck, so that hopefully you have too many resources for them to possibly get rid of everything. You just overwhelm them with force. So to do that, we're playing the MetalFoes engine. If you're unfamiliar with them, all the MetalFoes are normal monsters, except for this new rare MetalFoes, and they all have the same pendulum effect, that once per turn you can target one other face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, set 1 MetalFoe spell trap directly from your deck. So to take advantage of that, we're playing Graydle Alligator. This says if it's in your monster zone and it's destroyed by battle or a spell card's effect and sent to the graveyard, target 1 monster your opponent controls, equip this to that target, and take control of it. So the top combination in this deck is to normal summon Graydle Alligator, play any of your MetalFoes in the pendulum zone, blow up Graydle Alligator, and then not only do you get to search for something, but you get to steal one of your opponent's monsters. If you put that in combination with Supply Squad that says once per turn if a monster you control is destroyed you can draw a card, or MetalFoes Counter that you can activate when a card you control is destroyed to special summon a MetalFoe from your deck, and you're easily just generating massive amounts of advantage. You're getting a spell card from your deck, you're stealing a monster, drawing a card, and summoning another monster, all with one fell swoop. So this Graydle in general, really key. That's why we play Graydle Impact. This is once per turn you can target 1 Graydle you control and 1 card your opponent controls, destroy them. So because this is a spell, you can use this to trigger Alligator's effect, while also destroying some back row, which is neat. What's more important is its last effect is during the end phase of your turn, if you didn't use the first effect, you can add 1 Graydle from your deck to your hand. So this will let you search out your Alligator, as well as your other Graydles that I'll get to in a moment. We're also playing Vortex Trooper, kind of a weird choice, I know. But this monster is when it's normal summoned, you can shuffle 2 cards from your hand into the deck and then draw 2 cards, which can be kind of good. This deck has a habit of bricking occasionally. You can get a lot of your 8 scales, and not be able to pendulum summon or get too many spell traps. This kind of helps it. It also has the effect that when it's destroyed, you can draw 1 card. So if nothing else, you can just normal summon this out. You don't have to shuffle your hand if you don't want to. And then you can just destroy it, get a MetalFoes counter, and then also draw a card. There's also a level 3 Aqua-type monster, which makes it great for things like Graydle Dragon, and also for making Phantom Knights of Breaksword, which are probably the 2 best monsters in here, aside from your MetalFoes fusion monsters. We're running 2 tuners in this deck, Graydle Slime and Graydle Slime Jr. They're both got their advantages and their disadvantages. I went back and forth between running 2 copies of Graydle Slime and 2 copies of Jr., and at the end I just decided to run 1 of each. Probably with some more testing you could get it down. Graydle Slime is a level 5, so you can't normal summon it, but of course if you get your scales up, you can pendulum summon it. You can also summon it from your hand by destroying 2 Graydle cards you control. So if you have an Alligator that's equipped to a monster and you no longer need it, or if you have extra of these Graydle Impacts, you can destroy them to summon this from your hand or graveyard. So you can get this out a little bit quicker if you have more resources. Graydle Slime Jr., meanwhile, is better early on in the game. When this is normal summoned, you could special summon 1 Graydle monster from your graveyard, as well as 1 Aqua-type monster of the same level from your hand. Of course, you can only summon water monsters that turn. So you could do that, but you can only make Graydle Dragon and Crystron Amortrix. Well, I guess you could make Coral Dragon, too, if you had one of your other MetalFoes already on the field. But for the most part, you're either going to, if you have one of these in your hand and the graveyard, then you can make Graydle Dragon. If you just have one in the graveyard, you can make Amortrix, who's okay. He can shift all special summoned monsters into defense mode, but I rarely ended up making him. Of course, this also has the effect that if it's destroyed by battle, you can summon a Graydle monster from your deck. So if nothing else, you could set this. Like I said, they both have their advantages and disadvantages. I play 1 of each in the side deck, just in case I feel in the mood for 1 in particular. See, everything else in the deck, I think I already explained what the MetalFoe's counter did. MetalFoe's Combustion is a continuous trap. It says once per turn, if a fusion monster is summoned, you can target one MetalFoe's monster in your graveyard with a lower level and special summon it. I've never used that effect, not even once. It's most important because if it's sent to the field to the graveyard, you can add one MetalFoe's monster from your deck to your hand. So you can set this, and if your opponent Twin Twisters it, well, you're just adding MetalFoe's from your deck to your hand. Most importantly, if they don't Twin Twister it, then you can activate it. Now it's a face-up card. You can blow it up with your MetalFoe's, and not only are you setting one of your more useful MetalFoe spell traps, but you can add one to your hand to complete your scales. We're also playing one MetalFoe's Fusion, one full MetalFoe's Fusion. MetalFoe's Fusion is the bread and butter of this deck. It's amazing. Not only does it let you fusion your MetalFoe's monster, but if it's in the graveyard, you could shuffle it into the deck and draw one card, which is important because it allows you to recycle it. That way you'll never be able to not destroy one of your Graydle alligators or one of your other things that you need to destroy. You'll always have something to search because you can just keep shuffling this back into your deck and drawing more cards. Full MetalFoe's Fusion doesn't have that recycling effect. It might not even be worth playing, but I really like some of the things you can do with it because it's quick play. So you can set it and you can fuse from your hand, so if you just have one like MetalFoe out or you have two that are face down, wait till your opponent's turn, and then you can, when they target or try to attack, summon out one of your MetalFoe's fusion monsters. Speaking of which, the MetalFoe's fusion monsters are all pretty decent. We got Crimsomite, who's one MetalFoe's and two monsters with 3,000 or less attack, and he has 3,000 attack. Just a huge beat stick. We've also got Adamante, which is one MetalFoe and one monster with less than 2,500. Just, again, another beat stick, but you can summon it with MetalFoe and anything else in the deck, or anything that you happen to steal from your opponent with your Graydles. Auricalc is two MetalFoe's monsters, so a little more difficult, but he has a pretty cool effect. He does double piercing damage, and also, when he's sent to the graveyard, target one card on the field and destroy it. So pretty nice, that's why we play two of him. One Mithril, also pretty good. Her effect is you can target two MetalFoe cards in your graveyard and one card on the field, shuffle the MetalFoe cards into your deck, and return the other card to the hand. You can use that once per turn, and if it's sent to the graveyard, special summon a MetalFoe's pendulum monster from your graveyard or from your face-up extra deck. So, pretty nice, but it relies on you having MetalFoe's cards in the graveyard, which isn't always an option, and it does still target. So, I only run one of it. It's pretty good for recycling things. Might want to run two if you were doing less extravagant extra deck stuff. Finally, we have Alcahest, who's probably one of the best cards in here, but a little difficult to pull off at times. This is one MetalFoe's monster and one normal monster, which again limits you to only the original MetalFoe's because they're all normal monsters. But this is during either player's turn. You can equip one face-up monster your opponent controls to this card, and it gains defense equal to the combined attacks of all the monsters equipped for it. Also, if you fusion summon, you can use the monsters that are equipped to this as fusion material. So, he works really great with full MetalFoe's Fusion. Your opponent tries to target one of your monsters or do something, you just summon out Alcahest, steal one of their monsters with really high attack, it'll have that much defense, and then next turn you can fusion summon their monsters if they have effects like when they're destroyed or something, and make something even better, like one of these Crimsomite or the Adamante, because these can be used with pretty much anything. Graydle Dragon I already went over, that's Aqua-type tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters, so as long as you have Graydle Slime or Junior, you can use any combination of these. Its effect is you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of water monsters used as material, and destroy them. So pretty good, just general destruction, plus with 3,000, you're going to have at least one. If you use a Graydle, you can destroy two. If you use Graydle Slime with two alligators, then you can destroy 3 cards. And if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target another water monster in your graveyard, special summon it, its effects are negated. But you can get one of your alligators back, and because its effect activates in the graveyard, well, there you go. Or you can always summon your slime back and use it to make something else. Particularly Ignister Prominence, because we got a level 5. Combining it with your level 3 MetalFoe will allow you to make Ignister Prominence, which is pretty good. You can also do it with a level 2 to make Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Coral Dragon's a little more difficult, that's what you use the Graydle Slime for. Same thing with Amortrix. The 2 and the 3 will make it. Finally, we're playing a couple Ixies. We've got the Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, 2,800 attack, which is the highest attack of all the level 7 Ixies that are generic. Mostly because our biggest attacker is this 2,400 level 7. Sometimes they have something you can't get over with that, so it's nice to just have an Ixie monster you can make that has a little bit more attack. Likewise, because it's getting over high attack is one of our hard points, that's why we play Utopia. We only have the 2 level 4s, but getting them out isn't that difficult because this deck searches and draws like crazy. And finally, Phantom Knights of Breaksword, because we run a whole lot of level 3s, and this card, you can target one card you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them, which again works with a lot of your cards like MetalFoe's combination that want to be destroyed, Vortex Trooper that wants to be destroyed, or just any of these. You can destroy any of them. Supply Squad will let you draw and then just pendulum summon them back out. The only other thing I didn't think I mentioned was this rare MetalFoes. It's level 1, so you can't pendulum summon it out of the extra deck with your 1 and 8 scales, but it has the same pendulum effect as the other MetalFoes, and it has the effect that if it's destroyed, you can add one of your MetalFoes during the end phase. So it's just extra search power. And of course, if you need it, I don't think I mentioned this before, but MetalFoes counter, you can banish it from the graveyard to add a monster face-up in your extra deck back to your hand. So if this goes to your extra deck, even though you can't pendulum summon it back out, you can always use counter to put it back into your hand, and then either normal summon it again to use the effect, or go ahead and put it in your scales if you need an 8 scale. The side deck I'm going to go over real quickly just because this has already been going on long enough. I play another Twin Twister just in case you get more spell trap removal that you really need to get rid of. Another Pendulum deck maybe. Another MetalFoes Fusion for those times when you don't really need full MetalFoes, or if they're banishing cards since we only play the 1 copy. Creature Swap because I'm already stealing monsters. You can give them a 0 attack point Vortex Trooper, 0 attack Graydle Slime, 0 attack MetalFoes stealing. It was a little bit too slow in this deck. I really wanted to use it, but it could still work pretty well. Make a whole lot of other level 8 synchros with this, especially if you play more Graydle Slimes. I already mentioned playing each of those. And then just the other Graydles, Graydle Eagle and Graydle Cobra. These also steal your opponent's monsters if they're destroyed by battle. And then this one also will steal a monster if it's destroyed by a card effect, and this one will steal if it's destroyed by a trap effect. So I would recommend running 3 of each, just in case you're playing a heavy trap or a heavy monster effect deck. So there you go, there's the GraydleFoes. I hope you enjoy. It's a pretty fun deck, a little closer to the meta that I like, but, you know, a little bit different twist on it. I mean, it's got Vortex Trooper. How often do you see that? Next week, I'll be taking a look back at Kaijus, in hopefully their pure form, to see how I can make that work. Until then, good luck, have fun.